Chris from quiltfabric.com, and today I'm going to show you some tricks to make your jelly roll race type thing more interesting by putting in little triangles where you joined or little flying geese where you joined. So first I have to explain what a some people call it jelly roll race. Here at quiltfabric.com we call it ridiculous because these are ridiculously easy to make. So you start with a jelly roll. So these are jelly rolls, and by the way, we make our own at quiltfabric.com because when they first came out, we didn't think the Hoffman combinations of batiks were as pretty as we could probably do. So we make our own, and we have quite a few on our website, so you might want to go to quiltfabric.com when this is over and get yourself a pretty jelly roll. So first let me explain the jelly roll race in case anybody out there doesn't know what it is. You take one of these rolls, which is 40 2.5-inch strips, and you join the strips together end to end. So you sew them together, either joined, I like to join them on a diagonal or joined straight, and you just do end to end to end to end, and then you take the long end and bring it around to the first end, and you put them right sides together and you sew and open it up. So then now you have 2 wide by like 20 long, and then you take that end around and bring it right sides together and sew them. So then you have 4 wide by 10 long, and then you do it again and again. So your thing goes from 1 strip to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16, and when you get to 32, you're done. This is how big it comes out. And I put a border on this one. Okay, so those jelly roll races are fun, but they get boring pretty quick. So one day I thought it would be nice if you could put something in between, and this was actually my first one. This has got more like flying geese in between. So you pick some strip that's going to look good among the other ones and cut pieces, and we're going to insert the piece as we sew them together, so it's not really extra work. You don't have to do an extra 40. Okay. So now that you know how to make ridiculous or jelly roll race, I'm going to show you how to spiff it up a little bit with something in between. Okay, so if we come down here, this was my first attempt, and I made these things that look like flying geese by putting a folded rectangle in between. And it turns out the same folded rectangle can be put in a couple different ways to make the triangles, this, and you could make squares. So without further ado, what you need are rectangles that are the same width as your jelly roll, so they're 2.5 by 4.5. And you take that 2.5 by 4.5 and you fold it in half, you know, the long one, across the long way. And to make this one, you insert it where you're going to join your 2 strips that away. So because when you fold it in half it's only 2.25, it's not going to go all the way to the top here, and I don't want it to because I don't want it to be caught in the seam allowance there. So I'm going to put these 2 together. I'm going to join them like this, and when I open it out, after I've sewn it together, I've still got it sitting here like this. Well, then when I come along to joining the rows, I'm going to fold this, I'm going to open it up like this, and when I sew the next piece along to it, there's going to be enough that it gets caught in here, but when I put the row on up here, this will not get caught. So that's how you still get the point. Okay, so let me just show you that again. It gets sewn in like that, and then when you go to put the next row on, you have to kind of open it like this so that the fold here, I think of it as the fold here getting put so that it's on top of the seam that way. And you'll have just enough so that when you sew this one on, it'll catch in there and sew it down, and then you look like you know, put a whole flying goose in and all you did was that. Now, to get the effect of the triangle, I'm going to fold it the same way, but let's see, I put it in this way with all the raw edges together, and then I do the join on the diagonal way. So I put them on this way, and then I sew from this corner to this corner, so that when you open it out, you get that nice diagonal joint. But because you stuck this in here, and because of the size I told you to make it, again, it's a 1/4 inch down, and when you add this other row, you won't cut off that point, and now you got half square triangles. It looks like you put in half square triangles, and you really just stuck this in as you joined it. Another thing you could do that I haven't actually made one to show you is if you stuck it in this way, but you did the straight join like on the first one, you would get like a, I don't think it would come out as a perfect square, but when you added your other rows, you'd get more like a square in between. So All you have to remember is all you have to remember is 2.5 by 4.5, and to go to quiltfabric.com and check out all the very pretty rolls. This one I think is called, let's see, this is creatively named green, orange, and red, and this one's called Fire. And here's a gray. I'm doing my bedroom over in these colors. That might have been too much information. And we've got like 20 of them. Thanks again. Bye.